then I've been reading all the messages between them all, and which he's been putting out, obviously, and it just seems like a pair of...
Blake Lively did not even read the book that the movie was based on.
Correct.
And we're not talking War and Peace.
Waiting on the amended lawsuit from Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. They're supposed to be adding names or evidence. Who knows?
When the curtain rises on Hollywood, the world is often presented with an image of glittering perfection. Star-studded couples, glamorous premieres, and witty public banter that makes us feel like we're witnessing a modern-day fairy tale. And when it comes to Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, that image is the very definition of the ideal couple: funny, loving, effortlessly stylish, and seemingly unbeatable. Their well-oiled public relations machine has crafted an image that fans and the media adore. But what happens when that perfect illusion begins to unravel behind the scenes? Matt Damon, a man who has spent decades in Hollywood, recently revealed some startling behind-the-scenes drama from the making of Deadpool 2, and it involves Blake and Ryan in ways that many never expected. Deadpool 2 was already shaping up to be a wild ride before audiences even stepped foot in theaters. Fans were treated to an ensemble cast of surprising cameos, from Brad Pitt's blink-and-you-miss-it appearance to Alan Tudyk's ultra-brief scene. And of course, Matt Damon, who appeared in a comedic segment disguised in prosthetics. It was the kind of fun Easter egg that Damon is known for. His cameo was meant to be a quick laugh, a nod to the fans, and a lighthearted moment in an already unpredictable movie. However, behind the laughter and prosthetics, things were not as simple as they seemed. From the outside, everything about Ryan and Blake's involvement in Deadpool 2 looked seamless. Ryan Reynolds wasn't just starring in the film, he was also the co-writer and producer. That's a lot of power, and it turns out he was determined to wield it. The more you peel back the layers of the story, the clearer it becomes that there were tensions brewing behind the scenes, and they weren't as small as one would imagine for what was supposed to be a fun cameo appearance. What started as a simple, friendly gesture from Matt Damon to lend his star power to a beloved franchise quickly spiraled into something far more complicated, and allegedly, a lot more manipulative. When Matt Damon initially signed on to appear in Deadpool 2, it was meant to be a short, fun cameo. Damon, always the professional, agreed to step in for what he thought would be a light-hearted moment for the fans. But soon after, things started to shift. Damon, always someone who values professionalism and collaboration, found himself navigating a series of unexpected hurdles. It wasn't just about the laughs anymore. It became a battle for screen time, for creative control, and for what would ultimately be the tone of the film. Ryan Reynolds, according to insiders, had a very specific vision for the film, and it wasn't just about Deadpool. Allegedly, Reynolds wanted control over every cameo that appeared in the movie. If someone was going to steal the spotlight, it would have to be him. But it wasn't just the on-screen antics that raised eyebrows. Rumor has it that Blake Lively, who is known for her sharp intelligence and influence in Hollywood, began inserting herself into the creative process in ways that didn't sit well with others. According to whispers from the set, Blake started suggesting changes to the script. Not just minor tweaks, but changes that would alter the flow of the entire movie. She was allegedly involved in conversations about which cameos should get more screen time, and more disturbingly, who would be trimmed down or even cut from scenes entirely. Matt Damon's cameo, sources claim, was initially much longer and featured more of his comedic talents. But after Blake's input, Damon's scene was allegedly shortened, then further reduced, until it was nearly non-existent. What was supposed to be a fun, quick appearance from one of Hollywood's most respected actors turned into something far less fun for Damon, who suddenly found himself fighting for scraps of screen time in a film he had been invited to be a part of. But that wasn't the end of it. Allegedly, things got worse when Ryan and Blake started making last-minute script changes, with a particular focus on ensuring that the comedic moments in the film stayed focused squarely on Ryan Reynolds. Sources close to the production claim that Ryan insisted on having more solo lines, while Blake allegedly pushed for the removal of anything that didn't highlight Ryan's comedic timing. Matt Damon, who was always meant to be a part of a light-hearted segment, suddenly found himself in a situation where the scene he had agreed to film was morphing into something almost unrecognizable. What was meant to be a favor had turned into a political battlefield. The tension escalated, with Matt Damon reportedly going into full...
They're done, and it's no wonder everyone avoided them like the plague.
TMZ just dropped
Blake Lively did not even read the book that the movie was based on.
Correct.
And we're not talking War and Peace.
Negotiation mode with producers and lawyers to try to salvage his cameo. It wasn't just about the creative direction anymore. It was about ensuring he wasn't being used as a pawn in someone else's game. Damon, ever the professional, found himself caught up in a web of ego-driven decisions and power plays that were far removed from the collaborative process he had envisioned. As the chaos unfolded behind closed doors, things only seemed to get worse. Allegedly, Damon was blindsided by further edits to his scene. Without warning, the script had been changed again, leaving him frustrated and confused. Sources say that at one point, Damon had a full breakdown on set, venting his frustrations over what he saw as a disrespectful, manipulative move. Insiders claim that Damon made several heated phone calls, possibly even leaving aggressive voicemails, where he called out Ryan and Blake for what he viewed as an underhanded approach. Words like disrespect and career sabotage were allegedly thrown around. As if that wasn't enough, the rumors started flying that Blake Lively herself had shown up unannounced on set to speak directly with the director. She allegedly demanded that Damon's cameo be refocused to better suit the film's comedic tone, which, in her view, meant giving Ryan even more screen time. It was an ugly scenario, one that had very little to do with the laughs the film was supposed to deliver and everything to do with power, control, and image. The worst part, the director and crew were reportedly just as confused as Damon, caught in the middle of a battle that didn't seem to involve them but was being imposed on them nonetheless. Despite the growing tensions, Damon tried to keep a low profile in the press. But to those close to him, it was clear something had shifted. Damon's interviews around the release of Deadpool 2 seemed unusually cold when the film was brought up. He gave vague answers, and his body language said more than his words. Fans began to notice that the friendly, charismatic Matt Damon wasn't quite as warm when it came to discussing his time on set. Behind the scenes, as rumors about the turmoil continued to spread, Ryan and Blake went into full PR mode. They knew how to spin a narrative, and they worked hard to keep their public image intact. The couple, always the darlings of the media, used their social media presence to flood the internet with heartwarming photos and family moments. They made sure to maintain their image as the perfect couple, keeping their fans hooked on their love story and clever humor. But insiders claim their PR blitz was more than just a coincidence. It was damage control. As Damon stayed quiet, Ryan and Blake reportedly used their carefully crafted public image to drown out any negative buzz surrounding their on-set behavior. Their posts, adorable family moments, playful exchanges online, and glimpses of their life together, flooded the media. Meanwhile, the whispers about the chaos on set were buried beneath layers of charm and calculated public appearances. But the cracks in their seemingly flawless image were beginning to show. Damon, usually known for his quiet, diplomatic approach to Hollywood, was allegedly becoming more vocal about what had transpired during Deadpool 2's production. Insiders claim that Damon began making cryptic remarks about his experience, hinting at the drama he had endured. At a private industry event, Damon reportedly told a small group of people that the cameo had not gone as promised. One insider claimed Damon said working on the film had felt like navigating a vanity project disguised as a comedy. It wasn't subtle. It was a direct jab at the way Ryan and Blake had tried to control the film's narrative, and it made it clear that the experience had left a bitter taste in Damon's mouth. Eventually, the rumors gained momentum. Matt Damon turned down a follow-up cameo for Deadpool 3. Some sources claim it was due to scheduling conflicts, but others insist it was Damon's quiet, yet firm, way of saying never again. It was a classic Hollywood move. No drama, no press, just a simple exit. But in this case, that silence spoke volumes. The message was clear. Matt Damon was done with that type of set, and he wasn't going to be involved again. So what happens now? Will this story fade into the background, forgotten like so many others before it? Or is this the beginning of a much larger unraveling of Hollywood's carefully crafted reputations? For those in the know, this isn't just another tabloid rumor. It's a glimpse into a world where egos, power plays, and the battle for screen time take center stage. Ryan and Blake have carefully curated their image as Hollywood's perfect couple, but according to the whispers from those close to the production of Deadpool 2, that image may not be as flawless as it seems. In a town where reputation is everything, Matt Damon's subtle hints and cryptic comments have left a lasting impression. What's really going on behind the scenes? Maybe we'll never know the full truth, but one thing is certain. In Hollywood, nothing is ever quite as perfect as it appears.